Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and this is Jamaican Jerk Chicken Skewers. Well, today we're headed down to the Caribbean to tackle an incredibly flavor-packed recipe. We're doing Jamaican jerk chicken. And when it comes to jerk cooking, not just chicken, but pork is also a popular option. But the thing is, whether you're cooking a cut of pork, whole chicken, chicken pieces, or even boneless chicken thighs like we're doing today, the magic is in the marinade. And we're gonna get to that marinade shortly here, but the first thing we gotta do is fire up the grill. But today we're cooking on the Primo Ceramic Grill. It's an oval grill, a nice big one, so it gives us a lot of space to bank our coals, but still have plenty of cooking space. So we're gonna get some large lump charcoal in the grill. And like I said, we're gonna just be banking it to one side so that we can kind of have all of our skewers laid over the hot coals. That way you can move them if you need to, but ideally, we also wanna get some wood in here so you'll get a little bit of wood fire, a little bit of that smoke flavor. Traditionally, you will see pimento wood when you're doing jerk chicken. It's not something that's very accessible here in the Midwest and the United States. So instead of pimento today, we'll just be using some pecan chunks. So we're building essentially a wet rub today using wet and dry ingredients. When it comes to jerk seasoning, these two right here, this is the magic. Your Scotch bonnet peppers, which these are frozen, but fresh peppers that have just been in the freezer, and then allspice. Those are the big flavors. Of course, we're gonna surround those with a lot of other aromatics, some spices, some herbs, and a little bit of liquid, but it's all going together in the food processor. Now the Scotch bonnet, it's a pretty spicy pepper. It's got some good heat to it. It's also got some great fruity flavor to it, but it's not always the most accessible. So if need be, you can always substitute in some habaneros. The amount you wanna use is totally up to you. We're doing 3 today. So we'll start there with the Scotch bonnets and a half cup of ground allspice. So while we're at it, let's add the rest of these spices. A teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a half teaspoon of cloves. We'll also add a couple tablespoons of fresh thyme, a quarter cup of minced garlic, and we've got some soy sauce and some white vinegar. Then we're gonna do a squeeze, about 2 tablespoons of lime juice and just a little bit of knife work on our green onion and ginger. Now I want about a half cup of minced green onion, and I'll use the greens and the whites in this application. Typically, if you're doing something raw, just wanna use the green parts, save the whites for something that's getting cooked, just because they're a bit more pungent. But this is all going to go on the grill eventually, so we might as well just use it all. So the fresh ginger, just going to mince that down to about 2 tablespoons. All right, green onion and ginger going in. Last few things here, we need some salt, some pepper, and some sugar. So salt, I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons of this cherrywood smoked salt. We're going to add a little bit of smoke wherever we can here, as well with the smoked black pepper and some smoked turbinado sugar. So we're getting some of that molasses, but also some really nice smoke flavor. So now, onto the food processor. We just want to break this down into a paste. Okay. Oh yeah, that looks good. Fully broken down. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. You can smell the heat coming off those Scotch bonnets too. So this little bit of marinade here is gonna be plenty to get us about 5 pounds of chicken. So we've got our 4.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs here. Let me just spread this out a little bit. So we get this marinade kind of massaged in on all sides, just enough to kind of coat everything. And then you gotta give it a good soak. I would say at least 4 hours, but ideally you just throw this in the night before and pull it out in the morning to cook it. Now I've got a batch of thighs that I started marinating last night. We're gonna pull those out. We're gonna get them onto skewers, finish them with just a little bit of finishing jerk dust, and then we'll be on to the grill. All right, so Not much of the marinade comes off of the thighs. You want all that flavor on there. What we are going to do is we're going to split these right down the middle so that we can do a little better job of getting them onto the skewers here, making them even in size. We're just doing these on skewers today, honestly, for ease, both of grilling and of eating. This is a perfect way to put this dish out for a party situation. You're having a big barbecue, throw some of these on with the chicken wings and everything else that you got going on. It's a big time flavor differential that's really going to impress. You kind of want to give this enough surface area so that you can get some nice char going on the outside, but bunched up just enough that it stays super moist and juicy. Fit a little more on that one. So now that we're all skewered up, we're gonna hit it with a little bit of the jerk by Plowboy's Barbecue. This is just gonna reinforce a lot of the flavors that we have going on, but this rub is salt forward. That's the first ingredient. And you'll notice we really didn't add a lot of salt to the marinade. There is some, and it's working to work its way into the meat already and has been overnight, but we didn't want that to be too salt forward to where it kind of cures the outside. So we're just gonna hit it with this salty jerk rub now on the outside right before it goes onto the grill. Now these skewers we're using are flat bamboo skewers. I like to use the flat ones because it really keeps your meat from like spinning on you when you're trying to flip things. The other thing you wanna remember though is when you're cooking over high heat like we will be today, you wanna go ahead and soak these skewers in water for a good half hour or so before you actually get them onto the grill. That way they don't just burn up as soon as they hit the grill. So the grill's smoking hot right now. We're at about 600 degrees. I'm gonna throw a little bit of pecan wood on top of our charcoal, and then we're gonna get our chicken skewers here on the cast iron grate. We'll just kind of work in batches. I immediately smell that wood fire. It smells fantastic. That flame's gonna give us a little bit of color on there as well, which is nice. So once those kind of release themselves from the grate and they've got that bit of char on them, they're ready to get a flip. Some of these are still a little bit stuck, so we'll let them stay stuck. They'll let themselves go when they're ready. But we can kind of rotate around a bit here too. Dang, that's hot. All right, so we've got all the color that we need. I'm gonna take these off. We're not even checking temperatures yet, but I wanna get the next round on. We can finish these indirect if we need to. So we'll get our next round on here. We got just a little more than half done in that first round. And then I'm gonna pop a shelf on here. We'll move these guys over and start checking temperatures and finish them with just a little bit of glaze. Yeah, so a lot of this chicken's gonna be done when we get to about 175. And some of it's still in that 100 range, which is fine. We've got all the color we want on them. Now we just need the internal to come up. So I'm just gonna brush these with a little bit of pineapple juice just to sweeten things up here at the end. And then we're gonna close the lid and let them finish cooking indirect. All right, round two is looking pretty good on the color now. So we're also gonna move that to the indirect side. And now we're just gonna give everything the pineapple glaze, close up that door, and let the chicken come up to temperature. All right, these have been cooking indirect. Most of these have come up into the 170s now. Like I said, we want to aim for about 175 on a finishing temp for thighs. So some of these hot ones, they're just getting one final little pineapple juice glaze. You could also just spritz that pineapple juice on, or not do it at all, to be honest, but I kind of like that sweet, sticky finish. Got a little bit of ways to go on some of these. I've been rotating them so that, you know, we kind of get them even from top to bottom, but yeah, we just got a few degrees to go on some of these lower ones. So put a big platter of these out at your next barbecue and just watch them disappear. One great way that you can eat these is take some nice cold lettuce and keep it on ice. This chicken's got some bite to it, and a nice cool lettuce, a little green leaf around it, helps cool that off just a little. Dang. Just so much flavor in here. I mean, the allspice jumps out quick. You've got the heat from the Scotch bonnets. That's doing work for sure. Just a tiny touch of sweetness from our turbinado, and then, of course, the pineapple on the outside. I love that the lettuce also keeps your hands clean. Makes for a great little handheld snack. The flavor's huge. The spice is just right. I could probably go one more pepper in here, but you could go less as well if you're trying to feed a crowd of people who maybe not so into the spicy stuff. Either way, the flavor is going to be huge. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. If you enjoy the recipe, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. My tongue's getting hotter as we go. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.